Welcome to Just a Bit Outside, presented by WaFd Bank. Join a best bank at wafdbank.com. I'm Aaron Levine, and we are excited to welcome a new face to the sports team at Q13 FOX. Her name is Alyssa Charlston, and this was a perfect chance to get to know her and introduce you to her and surprise her with a few guests along the way. Well, yesterday she broke the news to the world, and today Alyssa Charlston has begun her publicity tour, which has at least one stop, might only have one stop, but let's be honest, it's the most important one right here on Just a Bit Outside. Alyssa is joining our sports team at Q13 FOX. But first off, welcome to the team, Alyssa. We're so excited to bring you on board.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really excited, thrilled. I've been, a Seattle sports fan for so long, raised over there. And the second stop will probably be, my parents' house. I think they will probably throw me a bigger party than anyone because they're happy that I'm going to be back in Seattle.
Yeah, so you're from the area. Kind of take us through that. How much time did you spend out here growing up?
So I moved over there in third grade and was raised in Sammamish and became an Eastlake Wolf, go Wolves, played basketball, volleyball, and just that's kind of where most of my friends are. Obviously have a ton of high school friends that I'm still very close with before going and playing at the University of Idaho. Casual, like I can't let go of my glory days. Like to have the picture of University of Idaho team behind me, but yeah, a lot of wonderful memories, high school for the most part, but I am delighted to be, back in the area.
That is a conference championship photo. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay. Just checking. And
yep,
yeah,
the first one.
And you could have more than them. You don't have to have just one. You could have multiple pictures behind you if you want. I mean, you can relive the glory days like what Al Bundy on Married with Children did at Polk High as much as you'd like.
Okay, well, just be ready for that every single day, reminding you. And also my dead plant. So before anyone gives me, a little bit of crap for that.
Okay, well, we will definitely get you some water for that plant as well. I have to say, though, personally, I mean, the last time I saw you in person, I honestly thought you needed a nap because it was at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. You had just finished covering the Eastern Washington football team in the FCS National Championship game, and you had made it to Cowboys Stadium just in time for the Seahawks playoff game later that day. Is it just me, or were you absolutely exhausted at that point?
I was absolutely exhausted. Eyes were like half mast. And the thing that re-energized me was seeing popcorn and seeing that Cowboys Stadium media room. Whoa, that was incredible. But that was a crazy day. And that was the last time we talked. And a tough loss for the Seahawks, unfortunately, in Cowboys Stadium. But that was a crazy day. And it is a kind of a good description of what I'm coming from to Seattle, from Spokane. A lot of, one woman team kind of stuff, but I got to cover so many incredible teams over here and amazing connections. I respect this market so much. And one thing I'm so excited about Seattle is I respect the people that work in this market, the teams that are in this market. And I think people can expect that from me, being well-versed, well-knowledged, and just respectful, excited.
Oh, the word respect. I mean, obviously, there are a number of local media members who I believe respect you already from seeing the work that you do in Spokane. And you've done a little bit of work here in Seattle as well. We're going to get to that in just a bit. But I wanted to tell that story specifically because a lot of folks out there think that this is just a glamorous job, that we show up, we put makeup on. Yes, I'm wearing a little bit right now. Don't tell anybody. We read the teleprompter and then we go home. You're out there with a camera. You're shooting your own live shots, shooting game footage, taking notes, writing scripts, editing video. And that's really what it's like sometimes. I mean, did you ever have a moment where you were like, this is a lot. I mean, this isn't for me. I can't be doing this all the time.
I think it was a moment where I was shooting a game, also shooting it on my phone, thinking about what I was going to tweet for the video that I'm shooting on my phone, and then getting ready to set up a live shot. And people get mad about, sportscasters shooting on their phone or people only watching games on their phone, but so much of the sports world lives online. And I think that's what's added like a new element to it. And it's another way to access the audience and have good conversation and interaction with the audience. And that's what I love too, is, meeting people over social media and having fan engagement with people who are Seahawks fans, Mariners fans, Kraken fans, Storm, Sounders, all that. I'm so excited about that. And there were definitely moments where I was like, I'm running on 1 hour of sleep and I've got a 5 a.m. live shot. But then you remember, like, I'm covering sports and I got to go watch games and talk to world-class athletes and their coaches. And that's where you really just have that moment of gratefulness.
Yeah, no doubt. And I usually I'm like this all the time. I'm with my phone live tweeting or wherever I am at a game. And yeah, go Seahawks, by the way. We all have these war stories. I'm going to share one of mine quickly, and then we'll get back to you for a second. Because I had a moment at my first job in Bakersfield, California, where I had to shoot a championship high school softball game in Fresno. So I drove the clunky sports van, as everybody knows, up to 2 hours to get there. A normal softball game is 7 innings. This game went a Central Section record 24 innings. The thing lasted 5.5 hours. My shoulder was sore from holding the camera that long. The local CBS affiliate actually needed to bring extra batteries for my camera because I was out of batteries at that point. And the final score of that game was 1-0.
No.
1 run was scored in 24 innings. So I drove back to Bakersfield, and all that made it on air that night was a 15-second highlight of the game-winning run. And as I walked out of the building that day, I almost didn't come back and that was the day from hell. And yet this is what a lot of us have to do. And we're working our way up through the ranks. I'm glad I did come back because fortunately I'm here now and you're here now. And obviously you mentioned you're from the area, so you really had a chance to come back home.
Yes. And that's what is just compelling me. I'm so excited. I keep waking up each day since we committed and we made this thing happen. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really going back to Seattle and I'm reporting on teams that I grew up on. I mean, I was Sue Bird 4 Halloweens in a row. And that's not me being a fangirl. It's like, she's been in the league. She's had such an incredible career for 20 plus years. I mean, around 20 years. That it just is incredible to me. And, the legendary broadcasters run through my head, Kevin Calabro and Dave Niehaus, and just the idea and being able to be Steve Rabel, just incredible humans out there, and yourself to be joining you. I'm so excited. And with that softball story that you talked about, first of all, when you said the clunky van, I was like, probably needs an oil change, maybe has some tire maintenance that it needs, like that. We're so used to that, like kind of risking your lives. I've had some pretty terrifying drives back from Pullman, Washington, covering the Cougs in the middle of a snowstorm. One that I really remember is that Gardner Minshew Apple Cup, where there were tears. But that drive back was terrifying, but all worth it. And it makes us who we are now. We're tough. We're mentally tough. And
frozen tears since it was so cold out there at that point.
The
good news. Yeah, exactly. So we don't have to teach you how to say Snohomish or Suquamish or Puyallup, which is kind of half the battle when someone is new to the area. You got to take us through your journey, because I know I'm never going to challenge you to one-on-one on a basketball court. That's for sure.
Well, you could right now, because I've been dealing with a really annoying stress fracture for the last 2 years. So my I'm not in shape basketball wise, but I played basketball, volleyball at Eastlake, and then played at the University of Idaho, and just best all around choice for me, because I got to be an impact player, got to be named all conference a few times. And, I was also a bit of a nerd. I was Capital One academic All-American, something my parents are very proud of. And there's a motorcycle starting outside. So awesome. Love Spokane. But then decided to play overseas. So I played overseas. We won 2 WAC championships actually at Idaho. Played against Brianna Stewart at UConn. Her team, don't look up the score to that one. Not our best moment, but then we made it back to the NCAA tournament, made some history at Idaho as a team. And then, played overseas, which was the craziest and most lonely, but most major growth moment and year for me, playing in Luxembourg, which is its own country. They speak Luxembourgish, and won a national championship over there. It was really incredible. And after that, I was like, there's no way I can keep playing and not win a championship and then keep playing, I had to hang up the shoes from there. And then actually worked at University of Washington for a little bit in the sports department, and then KXLY for 3 years, covered Gonzaga, covered Washington State, and worked for Gonzaga for the last couple months as they went to the national championship.
I got to go back to Luxembourg for a second. You said Luxembourg-ish. Is that actually a language?
Yeah, for some reason it sounds like some sort of hamburger to me, but it's Luxembourgish, like Berg. I don't know where I'm getting that from, but yeah, Luxembourgish, and it's a mix between French and German, but more like Germanic. It's pretty guttural. But everyone there, almost all of them, could speak. 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds could speak English, French, German, and Luxembourgish at the minimum. It was incredible. I was like, I really have to step my game up.
That is amazing. Are you fluent still, or were you ever fluent?
For sure. Definitely. Talk to me in French, please.
No, I don't. No. Steve will play, and that's about it. I have a little bit of Italian in me, but I don't have any French at all. So I guess you mentioned it. You're sort of the self-proclaimed washed up former athlete. And by the way, I expect you to wear the Sue Bird Halloween costume to the first Storm practice and then tell Brianna Stewart of your war stories playing against her in college.
I'll make instant friends, and I'm sure they'll really respect me right away.
Exactly. And you mentioned your time in Spokane. You were there for 3.5 years.
Yep. Wonderful place.
Did you get along with your boss there?
Yeah, he's all right. Keith Osso, one of my favorite people ever. Absolutely hilarious and so much fun to be around. Him and Melissa Luck as news director, both incredible humans, managers. Keith is hilarious. So he kind of, I'll be as professional as I can all the time, but sometimes I put a little edge and a little personality into it, and he's the one that always pushes it almost a little too far. So I got a good balance of both, being, having a personality, but also knowing your stuff and being sports.
Well, I'm going to stop you because we have an imposter all of a sudden. I see DJ Superstam right in here, and he's joined us on Just a Bit Outside before, and I figured Alyssa should get used to seeing more of you since she's going to be more at some of the Seahawks games this fall. Also, I mean, you guys look like you had a ton of fun doing some stuff for the Huskies last year, right?
Surprise! Wait, when did he pop in? Because I was like, I had my thing. Been there for a while.
Listen, you can run, but you cannot hide from Super Sam. I'm everywhere. I am everywhere. Listen.
Oh my gosh, it is so good to see you. We had the best times.
So take me through this. I mean, you guys worked at Huskytron last fall. This was during the during the Husky football games with the fans. What exactly were you doing?
Absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead, Alyssa.
Well, we worked this out early, but we're a little bit out of practice, so I'm stepping on him here. But Huskytron from home, it was like this virtual second screen experience for fans. So you watch the football game on your TV or listen to it on the radio, but you can also hear the radio on Huskytron from home, and then fun cut-ins from me and DJ Supersam. And like, we'd lead up the whole hour pregame showing fans, like we did these cell phone videos of what it looked like inside with all the beautiful cardboard fans and like Kelsey Plum and some dogs, and like pregame and postgame. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, now what she's not telling you is we had way more fun behind the scenes. The spread that we had to eat, absolutely amazing. We had sandwiches with no meat. That's how good the spread was backstage.
Yeah, a vegetarian's dream come true, I would say for sure. I got to know, what did you learn from working with Alyssa last year?
Man, she is the consummate professional, man. With the job that we did, you want to go to a job and you want to have fun with the people that you're working with, right? And she just made it super easy. She made it comfortable. Like, she was pumping me up, like, Super Sam, I'm in awe. I'm like, I'm in awe of you. Let's beat back the train up. But she's a pro. She preps for her work, and she's always ready to go. Just lightens the mood really nice. And it was just a joy working with her, man.
So it's terrible you guys didn't get along then, right?
It was awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both of us, just huge egos and butting heads. All
Yeah, and I know she butted heads with her old boss also, Keith Osso, sports director at KXLY. Oh, hey, Keith, how are you? How's it going? Hey, Keith.
Wow.
Give us the dirt on Alyssa. What do we need to know?
No way.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No, it's fine. Thanks for joining us, Keith Osso, sports director of KXLY in Spokane. You guys worked together for 3.5 years, so give us the dirt. What do we need to know about Alyssa?
Alyssa is one of the smartest people you're ever going to meet in your life, but she cannot do math in her head.
No simple math.
Yeah.
Show your work.
Yeah, it's right. Alyssa, they won 72-53. How many they win by? And it's not going to be right. But no, she's awesome, man. You guys are so going to just enjoy her work. Just a great person, hard worker, great heart. I miss her every day. So very glad she's going to get to go home and cover teams that she already knows a lot about. Already has the inside track on a lot of these things. So it's going to be a heck of a fit. just take care of her for us. Spokane's going to miss her.
Well, we definitely will. I think the good news is we don't cover Idaho sports very much out here, so we won't have any biases in that regard. But is she going to be okay handling the Huskies? Because I know there was a lot of Cougs love out there on the eastern part of the state.
She'll be fine. If she could put up with Mike Leach and whatnot, she'll be fine covering anything on the west side. She has some connections. The University of Washington will help her a long way. If UW ever plays Idaho, she'll probably show up wearing face paint. But other than that, she's pretty good about it. She'll tell you around the office, and if you happen to remind her that she played in the NCAA tournament, she'll stop you and say, "Actually, I played it too."
Well, actually, when I met her, the first thing she did was read off her stats to me, and I was like, "Who is this? Who is this person? Like, what are we doing here?"
Have you seen my bio?
Yeah, bring that stat sheet to your first day of work here, will you? I mean, we'll love that. Keith, you also mentioned Mike Leach. We reached out to him. He's out of the country right now, but he said he would join us for just a bit outside one of these weeks also. So we're excited about that as well. DJ Super Sam, you have any advice for Alyssa as she starts here in Seattle?
Yeah, I do. Since she's going to be working around the Hawks a lot, and I know there's a bunch of helmets laying around, Alyssa, just don't take any of the helmets without asking. It's an inside joke. The game that the Huskies wore, the matte black helmets, yeah, we may have one or two in our cars, just one or two.
Maybe. Don't tell anybody though. At least it's only on
Don't
here.
take them without asking.
No. And then trying to get it on. That was took me the whole show.
Well, so if she doesn't steal any helmets, we need some feature ideas. Which players on the Seahawks should we highlight this season? Who has the best taste in music?
Ooh, man. I always got to go with my D-line. She asked me this question before when it came to who has the best taste in music. I always got to go with the D-line. Well, the defense, period. But when we're tearing them up, definitely the D-line. They got all the moves. They got all the roles. They come over and they request all the songs.
So if you request an interview with Poona Ford, just play some music instead, because he's very soft-spoken, doesn't say very much. We can just play music in place of that. Keith, I mean, Alyssa, do you have any? What did you learn from working with Keith for 3.5 years?
Well, Keith, what you didn't know is before you even came on, I had my Zoom minimized as someone who doesn't understand technology, but I do, I promise. So I was already starting to talk about you, and what I learned is how free you are. He's so funny. And DJ Super Sam, you were the same way too, just very sometimes Keith, I was sometimes he said things like, is that okay to say on air? I don't know if that's allowed. But just your easygoing personality, you're hilarious. It worked well with my dad joke humor. He would just basically make fun of me and in really good insulting ways, but not that insulting, and hardworking. I mean, that man knows Spokane, knows everybody knows Keith too. He won't admit it, but just incredible networking connections. They love you. If they've met you, they love you. And if they don't know you, they're just really creepy toward you if they see you in person, thinking that they know you. And I think that's a great sign of somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, Aaron, the dad jokes, man, I'm a dad and I can't compete. It's yeah, she's got it. Puns, word plays, it's all Alyssa.
I try. I do my best, but I'm not a dad. I'm not a dad, but my humor kind of makes me seem like one.
And her game on the blacktop these days, a lot of angles, a lot of bank shots.
Oh, you're good.
Keith, by the way, yeah, Keith, it's rare that we all get to enjoy our days off. So I'm going to let you get back to enjoying yours. But do you have anything else to say to Alyssa? Words of encouragement or advice?
Love you, kid. And just because you're going to a big city doesn't mean can't still call you Chewy.
Chewy for life, always.
That's right.
Thank you,
Hey,
Keith.
you go there and kill it. I know you will.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Keith. And DJ Super Sam, we appreciate you taking the time to hop in here. We'll hopefully see you out at training camp. And if not at training camp, Lumen Field this season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be there with bells on. And Alyssa, I will give everyone the green light to hop in your DMs as I did during when we were working together at the Huskies. Yep. They're wide open right now. Go ahead and hop in. Dad jokes are welcome, whatever. Just go ahead and hop in their DMs right now.
lay it all out there. Dad jokes. Dad jokes. Can't wait.
Well, we're going to say goodbye to those two and actually bring a couple other people in. We might as well. I mean, at this point, yeah, we have some people you're going to be working with here in Seattle. We got Ian Furness and Jessamine McIntyre, both Q13 FOX. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We got. Hopefully you can hear me because we're getting some weird internet connections going on now. But
there we go. Hello. Hi. I just got my camera set up here. What's up? Welcome aboard.
Team.
How are you?
Hello.
I'm so good. Now I see the whole team's face, all the team's faces. I'm overwhelmed in a good way. I love this.
Well, I mean, the cool part is you know a lot of us already. Ian Furness here also, and Jessamine McIntyre. Ian, it's nice. Alyssa's on board. We finally get some help.
Does that mean I don't have to work Fridays in the foreseeable future? That's my big concern.
I think that's true. Yes.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. From meeting all of you, I mean, the cool thing is about working in Spokane and also knowing Seattle, it's like I've seen Jessamine McIntyre on Coug sidelines, killing it, trying to chase down and box out Mike Leach. And Ian Furness, I've seen you at that Dallas Cowboys game, covering the Seahawks, and Aaron, you as well at that same game. And like seeing how you guys work, I was like, whoa, Alyssa's got a long way to go. And that was a couple years ago. And now I feel like I'm so lucky to be surrounding myself with the talent that you guys bring.
Well, I think you touched on it there. I think what is going to make this team so great is the diversity of knowledge and talents in so many different areas. I mean, Ian, among other things, is a hockey expert. Alyssa, you're the basketball expert. I know a thing or two about golf, maybe. Both Ian and Alyssa can be analysts. Jessamine on the sidelines of Seahawks and Cougar football game, and also the Sea Wolves rugby team. So she can give us some knowledge when it comes to rugby as well, which is fairly new to the area as well. Do you guys have any questions for Alyssa?
What are you most excited about?
Oh, there are so many things that's just all popping in my right now. I move officially Wednesday. So I'm like thinking about all the exciting things, who I'm going to see. I have so many friends over there. And the weird thing is, like, over here, I spend my days off by myself for the most part. I love Spokane. I swear I make friends, I promise. But being able to be around family and friends on my days off and nights or mornings, like being able to, meet up with a friend for morning coffee, people that I've grown up with. And that's probably number one. And obviously the teams, like we know them, like I know them like the back of my hand for the most part, working over in Spokane and just diving in, like being comfortable with people right away and seeing eventually Pete Carroll smack the gum in person, it's just going to be, all those things. That might be kind of creepy, but seeing anything in person, Mariners, like really, really diving in and being around all that.
It's Bubblicious, by the way, and he goes through many packs a game.
Okay. Yeah. Bubblicious.
Yes.
That is throwing gloves at practice. I have to wonder, because you and I share the same thing. We're both from this area. How excited are you to be able to work in your hometown, in sports media, on television? I know for me, the first time, I'll never forget the first time I sat at the desk. It was a Saturday night, about 5 or 6 years ago. I'd already been at Q for 6 or 7 years, but sitting there was kind of surreal, saying, hey, I'm in Seattle, I'm in my hometown. I grew up watching my dad anchor the news, and now I'm doing it in Seattle. For you as a hometown girl, how excited are you to come home and be able to do that in your hometown?
I don't know if that's hit me yet. And that's where I'm like, my parents are going to be able to turn on the TV and see me and like know what's going on in my life a little bit, knowing at least what I'm reporting on that day. And my roots are there. My roots are in Seattle. And that's what is so special. It's like to have my parents and my family, extended family, it's all in Seattle, and they're going to kind of know good days and bad days, like I hope I'm on my game all the time. And that's, keeping the standards high, but to have those roots there and to continue to spread them. I mean, I don't know if I could have anything more. I've driven through Seattle when I've been working in Spokane, and when I'm not, in Seattle, living in Seattle, and it's like, I've never imagined living here because I just never thought it'd be possible. And now it's really here and it's really happening. And I'm trying to like pinch myself every day because I feel like it's not real until I'm like in that office.
Well, you will be very soon. I believe your first day is next Tuesday, so we're going to welcome you with open arms here. Alyssa mentioned, by the way, guys, that she was Sue Bird for Halloween 4 straight years. So I'm assuming that Sue is one of your favorite Seattle athletes, aside from Sue Bird and maybe aside from the Storm, because you're going to be doing a lot with the Seahawks, the Sounders, and the Storm, because Q13 FOX is the official partner of all 3 teams. We've also got the Kraken coming in, OL Reign, got the college teams, the Mariners. Do you have a favorite Mariners player?
I love Edgar. He's one of my favorites. My grandma absolutely loved him. Raul Ibanez is someone she also absolutely loved. And so for some reason, the ones my grandma loves, I have totally bonded to. Obviously, the kid, you got to love Griffey. And Jay Buhner, actually met him at a grocery store when we lived in Issaquah back in the day. And he was such a kind person, so sweet. But for some weird reason, one of my favorite all-time Seattle athletes is Desmond Mason. He could just throw down. I know he wasn't a Sonic for that long, but him, Rashard Lewis, those Sonic days are great. So yeah, I'm pumped for the Kraken to be starting things out, the NHL, get some violence and excitement, and the hockey crowd. There's nothing like that in a city. And yeah, I'm so excited. Like Seahawks, all the things. Q13 is truly the most ideal place, I think, for me to be and to be around you guys.
What are you going to miss about Spokane? I know if it was me, I'd miss Dick's Drive-In, which is a different Dick's than we have here in Seattle, by the way. Okay. I would miss the whammy at Dick's Drive-In if I was you.
You know what's crazy? I drive past Dick's to get to my house almost every single day, and I have not been, because I know it's not Dick's from Seattle, and I love Dick's from Seattle. Like, that's such a good hamburger spot. What I'm going to miss the most, I mean, no traffic. That's kind of nice. That's huge. But I would also say boss Keith, like I talked about, Keith Osso, fantastic human to be around and hang out with. But yeah, I think those 2 things really stand out. People are just incredible here, very slow, down to earth, not slow, but like, that sounds terrible. Slow moving. They're not too fast paced, and they're very, life is meant to be enjoyed. They're very much, they live in the present, and I'm definitely going to miss that. And I know I'm excited for what Seattle's going to bring, though. I love Seattle people.
Well, the bad news is, Alyssa, now you have to deal with us. And this, so I apologize in advance. Yeah, this will conclude the Alyssa Charlston, This Is Your Life segment. But more than anything, we wanted to welcome you to Q13 FOX, get our audience to know more about you, and they certainly will, starting next week when you start on Tuesday. We're excited to have you join the team. Anything you're most nervous?
Ooh, most nervous for? I'll have to think about it, and I'll get even more nervous for it. Let's see. Honestly, talking to some of these coaches is going to be different, because that's developing that repertoire. And I think Michelle Ludka was fantastic at developing a lot of great connections, and making the female presence in the sports world in Seattle, along with you, Jessamine, and several others, really strong. And I would say, yeah, like getting those relationships going coach wise, pumped for that. But also there's always a little bit of nerves, like how are they going to respond to me? I've dealt with Mark Few over here, who's taken a lot of warming up to, respect him a ton, but him and Mike Leach were not easy coaches to crack. So I know it takes time, it takes respect, but yeah, I think that, and finding like the best coffee spots. I'm not nervous about it, but like, I need help. I know I need that.
Well, there are a few coffee spots here in Seattle, from what I hear. So that's going to be that's really good news. We're excited to have you join the team. You're going to meet the rest of us next week. Jessamine McIntyre, Ian Furness, thanks so much for joining us and joining in here. Alyssa, congratulations, and let's have some fun with this.
Yes, let's go. Thank you guys so much for taking the time, surprising me like this. This was a ton of fun, and big things ahead.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Just a Bit Outside, presented by WaFd Bank. Join a best bank. And a huge thanks to Alyssa for joining the show. I mean, if you want to host the show, you got to be interviewed first, right? For our entire production crew, I'm Aaron Levine. We will see you in a couple weeks.